Shalom Aleichem, and welcome back to Hachseg's learning of the Pele Yoetz, a good of Shabbos, day number 202, another one-day chapter. Really beautiful, beautiful words, apropos for maybe the whole situation that's going on today in Eretz Yisrael as well. Dira, a dwelling place. How careful a person must be in choosing a place of residence. It says in the Gemara in Brachos, La'olam yada adam imkaim Rabbi. A person should always live in the place of their Rabbi. If you can live near a Talmid Chacham, Gam kein yimsa tov, you'll also find good. At least, he says, live near a tzaddik, someone that is pure, v'yasha, and straight. If you can't live next to a major Talmid Chacham, at least choose someone that is going to be in the world of tzidkus, of righteousness. Because when you're living next to tzaddikim, when you're living next to Talmid Chachamim, it's like sitting next to an afar simon, balsam wood, which has a very strong, fragrant, beautiful, wonderful smell. By being next to the tzaddik, you will absorb their good fragrance. Do not live next to a bad person and a wicked person. It's like sitting next to neft, which is like gasoline. And the like, you will end up absorbing a terrible smell as a result of it. We are mushba, we are influenced by the surroundings that we are in and by the people that we are connected to and near. And therefore you want to be as near as possible to someone that has a good, pleasant, sweet fragrance of Kedusha, of Midas Toivos, of Yiras Shemayim, of Ehrlichkeit, and that's what you want coming from the house next door. It's going to absorb into your house, into your walls, into your family, into your life as well. Rabbi says, I'll teach us, stay away from a bad neighbor. The when it says in the Gemara, Oy l'Rasha, Oy l'Shchena, woe is to the Rasha, and woe is to his shachin, to his neighbor. The neighbor, you're going to get swallowed up like Korach and his neighbors. You're going to get swallowed up by the neighbor with all the bad things that they do. Toiv l'tzadik v'toiv l'Shchena, but it is good to the tzaddik and good to his neighbor, because the neighbor of the tzaddik is going to absorb and bring into his life all of the tzidkus, the righteousness that he sees there. As the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos tells us that one of the things that a person must put in a great effort for is a shachin toiv, is a good neighbor. It's very important. And Rabbi Yoetz writes over there, if you think about it, some of the people that you see the most in your life, even more than your friends, is going to be your neighbor. You're living right next door to them. So whatever kind of music is blasting out of their house, it's going into your house. Whatever kind of wild parties they're having, it's going into your house. What kind of Shabbos mirrors they're singing when the windows are open and the sukkah in the backyard, it's going into your house. The way that they hear the parents speak to each other, if they're screaming and they're yelling and they're getting in big fights, goes into your house, goes into your ears, goes into your heart, goes into your children. If there are people with Yiras Shemayim and good midos and they speak so nicely and kindly, and the house is a house that's filled with chesed, always doing for other people, it ends up transferring and it goes into your house as well. And therefore says Rabbi Yoetz, do whatever you must in order to have a shachin toiv, a good neighbor, because it's going to have the great hashpah, a tremendous impact on you and your home and your family as well. Says the Pele Yoetz further, Rak shemishu shachin etzel Talmid Chacham, if you live next to a Talmid Chacham, you need to go to him constantly and learn from his ways. Because if you don't do that, if you have a prized jewel next to you, and you could go and ask him any shaila that you have, you can watch the way that he speaks to his wife, you can see the way he treats his children, you see the way that he eats, you can watch everything about this Talmid Chacham, and you don't go. So Yoiser Toiv Shal Yador, and so it's better not to live near him. You're going to get doubly punished. You could have gone to learn from him, and you did not. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to punish a person as a result. So if you live near Talmid Chachamim and Tzaddikim, make sure you take advantage of them. There's a reason that you're next door, to take advantage of learning from them. V'gam ba'arim, even when it comes to choosing a city, where you're going to live, yivchar adam be'ezir, whichever city you're going to dwell in, make sure that you're choosing a good city that you're going to live in. Especially, says the Pele Yoetz, if you could pull it off, you should go and live in Eretz Yisrael. Shari Amru, because it says in the Gemara, Hadar be'Eretz Yisrael, someone who lives in Eretz Yisrael, he is like someone that has a God. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is nispashet. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is bailet. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He reveals Himself in Eretz Yisrael more than anywhere else in the world. So if you're living in Eretz Yisrael, you have the Rebbeinu Shalom. And if you live in Chutz La'aretz, not so pasha that you see HaKadosh Baruch Hu all the time. Much more difficult to find. V'yadua, and it's known, Yerushalayim mikudeshes mikol Eretz Yisrael. Yerushalayim is the holiest part of all of Israel. V'lechein, therefore, misha chashka nafshay v'terech lishkoin. Someone who has a deep, burning desire to be in Eretz Yisrael. V'toireach, and he works hard to dwell. Kvoid b'artzeinu, in Eretz Yisrael, in the Holy Land. Yivchar le'atoiv, choose the best. Toiv ligbaya dirasai v'yushalayim ya'akodesh, he should choose his dwelling place, his home, his apartment, his villa, wherever he's going to live, in Yerushalayim ya'akodesh. That's the Pele Yoetz says. The holiest of Eretz Yisrael is the holiest of lands, and Yerushalayim is the most mekudesh, the holiest of cities, and therefore, if you could, try to live there. Which should be rebuilt and established speedily in our days. Unless you know yourself, maybe there's a lot going on in Yerushalayim HaKodesh, building and people and tourists and visitors and going and coming, there's not so much space, you need a little bit more space. So you go out to one of these new places over there in Givat Ze'ev, or you find some place in Sfas. We say, you know what, if I could live over there, I'll have more peace of mind. I'll be able to steig better. I'll be able to learn better. I'll be able to daven better. It'll be better for me. Says the Pele Yoetz, then you have an excuse not to live in Yerushalayim. Shazafilu yeshivas chutz la'aretz. Even living in chutz la'aretz, outside the land of Israel, Tarzana, California, Toiva, chutz la'aretz, Toiva miyeshivas Eretz Yisrael. If you are going to be able to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu better in chutz la'aretz, maybe your parnas is going to be better, you're going to have what you need better, things will be set up in a better way for you, then even that, says the Pele Yoetz, you have an excuse to be able to live outside the land of Israel then. Kizeh kol ha'adam, this is what a person is all about. She'yavod esboira avodah shleima. A person should serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with complete service. Avodah tama, pure service. V'yehu mishkan el ha'kedusha, and the person themselves becomes a mishkan, a tabernacle, a dwelling place of the kedusha of the Shechina. K'dichsiv, like we just had in the parsha a couple of weeks ago, v'asu li migdash, make for me a migdash, v'shechanti b'soicham, and I will dwell inside of it. Uper Rabbi Zal, and in my print over here, it brings down, this is the words of the Alshich, famous word. It's not in the words of Chazal, it's not in the Gemara that says these words. These are the words that the source is the Alshich HaKadosh. And the Alshich writes, what does it say? It doesn't say, if you build for me a Mishkan, I will dwell inside of it. Ela b'seicham, inside of you. Which means you make yourself into a Mishkan. You Makadish yourself. You make your life all about Avodas Hashem. Become Mushlam, as perfect as you can be. And then I, the Shechina, you became that Mishkan. I will dwell inside of you. Uksiv, and it says further, Heichal Hashem Heima, they are the sanctuary of Hashem. V'yamar b'zar HaKodesh, and it says in the Zohar, Zaka barnash, the avalosh l'shchinte direnam beliba. Zocher merits, a person can merit that they can end up having the Shechina dwelling, living, residing inside of their heart. Could you imagine? There's no Beis HaMikdash anymore. The Shechina has no home. He has no place to hang his hat. He has nowhere to go. Where's the Shechina going to go? He's homeless. But he's not. Because if you make yourself into a Mishkan, you make yourself into this vessel that could receive the Shechina inside of your leiv, your heart, the Shechina is going to come and take his residence and live right inside of there. V'al kol panim, nevertheless, le'isig nosoi. Even if you're not living most of your life in Eretz Yisrael, but in your zignosoi, in your elder years, eis lechenena ala neshama, have rachmanis, have mercy, and have grace. Be gracious to your neshama. La'ashir apikon elokim. You're going to eventually have to return it to Hashem. Asher b'koichel asais yaseh. If you have whatever strength you have, la'lois el mokem ha'mizbeach sham. Go to the place of the mizbeach, Yushalayim HaKodesh. Sham de misasoi, sham de kvurasoi. There's where you should die. You should cease from the world. There you should be buried. And that will be the greatest honor and the final resting place of a person. So even though you might be in America, in New York, in Baltimore, somewhere in a far-flung place like Tarzana, California, at the end, when you get old, a person should try the best they can to end up in Eretz Yisrael and live out the rest of the years there. A person should daven for this all the days of their life. Dovid HaMelech himself says, there's one thing that I ask of Hashem, that is what I continue to ask for. I want to dwell in the pleasantry of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to come and visit his Heichel, his sanctuary, the Beis HaMikdash. Perhaps HaKadosh Baruch will hear your voice wherever you might be in the world and say, you know what, you are going to merit to come and spend the final years, the last years, how long it will be in the holy land of Eretz Yisrael, Mokem HaMikdash, Mokem HaMizbeach, and that is where a person will be able to commune in the highest level possible with the Rebbeinu Shalom. So, wherever we live, it should be the place that is best for our Avodas Hashem, the best for our Torah, the best for our mitzvahs, the best for our davening. Every single place in the world, as the Pele Yoetz taught us several times before, has what's called the nitzotzes of Kedusha, the sparks of Kedusha. There's Kedusha in New York, and there's Kedusha in Australia, and there's Kedusha in Bangkok, and there's Kedusha over here in LA. There's Kedusha everywhere. We just have to tap in and utilize that Kedusha to make our dwelling place the best that we possibly can to reach our levels of Avodas Hashem. If you live next to terrible neighbors, do everything you can in your power to move from there so you don't have to be around them. Trying to live around tzaddikim, talmidei chachamim. They mashpia on us, they change us, we become different people when we're around them, and that's chus imyas Hashem. As he writes here, we should be zeicha, tibane v'sikoine b'mheira v'yameinu. Amen. All the best.